his family? Have you spoken to him, and how's he travelling?
Yeah, so we didn't find out until the afternoon of the Adelaide shoot around. Well, he found out. We didn't find out at all. He didn't tell anyone until after the game. He pulled me aside and was quite emotional about that. And, the fact that he played that game with the intensity and the vigor that he had to go play the game, and then emotional conversation with him, and then I said, hey, don't go to family day. No, I'm going to family day. Hey, you don't have to come in the next day for workouts. No, I'm coming in the next day for workouts. And then obviously he flew home. But our condolences go out to his family and Milt. And these are tough times. And when a parent passes away, and it wasn't overly unexpected, but it was a little sooner than what they anticipated. It's difficult. Milt's in Chicago. The funeral's over this weekend, and we'll give him much breathing room as he needs and take care of his business.
How mentally tough would he have had to have been to play that game?
Yeah, I mean, off the charts for me. I can't wrap my head around that one. Losing a family member like I have also in a difficult situation, it's very hard to wrap your head around that. But I think, in sports, most players, most athletes, the best way they can honor their family is to go out and play. And that's what their family would want them to do. And the fact that he went out and did the right thing by his family to represent him, who he was, I'm sure he's playing that game for his dad.
You said much breathing space he needs.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. Has he given an indication of it's just this weekend?
Yeah, we'll revisit with him probably on Monday or Tuesday and see where he's at and what his schedule looks like. I know he wanted to get back as soon as he can, and again, we're not trying to put any pressure on him other than take care of his business. And it's not only hard on Milt, but he has two young kids that are going back home in this situation, and so he just has to deal with what he has to deal with, and we're here to support him.
For Milt to do all those things, Scott, that you mentioned, and then go and play the way he did, it really shows the character of the person.
Yeah, I mean, he's a silent assassin. He's a great human being, and our players know that. And when the players finally heard about what transpired, they couldn't believe actually that he's gone through that too. So we're just rallying around him. He's a wonderful guy, obviously, and most importantly, as I've said all along, when I first got here, tried to bring in guys of the Milton Doyle bloodline type, and the guys that really just sacrifice and do the right things, and he's one of them.
Depth we won't be tested because we know the depth's there, and
Yeah.
Shawnee Mack comes straight in the starting five. Do you think is that?
We haven't made decisions. We won't. We have options with Junior and Clint and Shawnee, and we'll wait till we get to game time to actually make a decision on that. But our system is our system, and guys will just man up and next thing. And it's exciting time for some other guys to get some opportunities or more minutes, and should be fun.
Tough loss against them a couple of weeks ago in Launceston. What did you learn out of that you're taking to this game?
Well, I mean, we've watched the game a couple times, and for me, it was probably the poorest game from beginning to end that we played. Just a lot of uncharacteristic errors and gambles on us that led to a lot of just breakdowns and put us on the back foot. And they're quite physical and good and tough-minded, and they get after you. So it should be an interesting game there. But we didn't play very well on both ends of the floor there. And those self-inflicted wounds are hard to recover from in any given night.
You talked a lot about your moving defense. I talked to Mark last week, and he talked about how you used the break to have a little bit of a tweak. With what happened on Saturday against 36 in the defense, close to what you wanted to play?
Well, I think I said it in my press conference. I think that's an unrealistic goal to think you're going to hold someone to 59 points. I think that's maybe once in a season you do something like that. But we're trying to eliminate our gambles and our mistakes and making sure that our scout is crystal clear. Our schemes and everything are really good. And again, the defense comes down to moving up or down in the rankings. Just a possession here or there, you're taking off points. And so, for example, in the New Zealand game, we gave up 15 points in transition. We haven't done that all year. And so you're bleeding points in those areas, and it's very hard to recover from. And so we're trying to clean up some of those areas. And hopefully we have. I think we moved from 8th to 4th over the week, which is good defensively. We're still at number 1 offensively, and we'll continue to have to fight hard to stay in the 4th spot because there's not a lot of separation so far.
How big of an impact, I guess, is Will Magnay coming back had on that group?
Well, he's just, I think, a confidence builder, and I think those two guys are different in the way they go about their business. And Marcus is a fluid athlete that gets up, down the floor, and is a little bit different in the way he plays. And then Magnay's right in front of you, and tough-minded and physical. And so I think having both those two give us a little bit different look at times. And Magne is, I've been around quite a bit. He's one of the best pick and roll players I've seen as far as how he plays defense there, and so it's quite helpful.
Mark's just had a really good start. It seems like he's getting more confidence as the year goes on, especially now that he's got Will out there to support him and take a little bit of the pressure off.
Well, I don't think he was under pressure. Internally, he was under pressure from me because I just wanted to continue to get better. But the pressure comes from just trying to do well for your teammates at the end of the day. That's who you're trying to most impress. And having Will back and having those two battle every single day in practice is only going to raise their level of play.
Reach out to CJ.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's just tough. It's just a tough business. It's very unfair at times, and I haven't been here very long, but I have a nice relationship with him, and he's gone through his own health battles and stuff, so I'm kind of in communication with him in those areas. And I felt like after that game, the way things were going over there, that I don't know if he was going to be able to survive that. And I told him after the game, I'm sorry how this has transpired this game, but it's not one of those things where I can pull guys back or do anything other than to do the right thing and play as hard as we can. And I feel for coaches in this league across the board, and I'm probably as pro coach as anything. I'm always contacting coaches when they've won games and congratulating them, even though they're chasing us or ahead of us, because I just know that the coaching life is not always as smooth and easy as some people may perceive it to be. And in professional sports, it's volatile.
Almost halfway through the season, that second place. How do you feel you play? So obviously it's a nice spot to be, but a long way to go.
Yeah, I think it's a long way to go, and there's a lot of ebb and flows that can happen. And I think like Milton Doyle, it comes out of the blue and unexpected, and injuries pop up during the course of the season, and it's very easy, like I've said before, to lose 3 or 4 in a row very quickly here, and the teams just keep coming. Some teams will get healthy, and some teams will lose some players, and you're just trying to maintain some steadiness along the way, fall back on your culture, fall back on your values. And hope the basketball gods reward you. We're working very hard. It's not guaranteeing us any wins, but if we're not doing it, we will not win games at a level that is expected here.
I know you probably won't want to comment too much about it, but the travel's been spoken about a lot this week.
Yeah.
You got New Zealand and Perth. And
yeah.
It's a tricky little period to navigate.
Not particularly. I mean, I said it again in my press conference. I feel for the travel over here, but ultimately, no one cares. If my dad found out that I was bitching and moaning, he'd come out of his grave about travel and grab me by the throat and say, "Son, this is how I didn't raise you this way." People are working hard for a living here and working from 8 to 5 and actually working. That's why we go to the orchards and see how the workers are working here. And yeah, you're on a plane. It's uncomfortable. You miss flights. You're late. It's not ideal. But ultimately, these guys are playing 15, 20 minutes, 30 maybe, 7 minutes, and that's their day. And that's their workload. And people don't care if you showed up. If we don't show up until Saturday morning to play this game in New Zealand, no fan's going to care where we've come from, and I'm certainly not going to care other than to force our guys to go out there and compete, and that's what their job is. I understand the travel is difficult, and I've been in the NBA where it's as luxurious as it possibly can be, but over here you just have to deal with what's in front of you, and I will not allow our guys to have that kind of mentality of feeling sorry for themselves because we sat in an airport for 8 hours and we can't get out of the city or wherever it may be at the end of the day. Go do your job.
Were you surprised DJ was so strong in his comments there?
Well, I think, they all have their ways of thinking about it and how they feel about it. He's a young player and maybe that's how he sees it. But I've been around the block and I see it a different way.
One of the Breakers' key players at the time, he's averaging about 20 points a game. He's in the last couple of games against Jack Jones, he's kind of got in and under the defense. What, especially on him, or how are you going to contain him? Because he seems to drive a lot of their points on their offense.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best players in the league. He's done quite well. We only played them once, and he obviously had a very good quarter against us, which really exploded and put us on the back foot. But he's done that to some other teams. Our big concern is the other guys on the roster, the Liafas and the Delaney's, the guys that will get involved in the game that will also add to that. We don't really game plan too much for imports. The imports are supposed to get X amount of shots, X amount of scoring. We worry about just our system and making sure we're doing the right thing, and we'll try to keep them under control and do the best we can. But ultimately, he didn't beat us; we beat ourselves up in Launceston with some really poor decisions. They played well, and give them credit, but we have to be better in some areas.